Hi, my name is James Carroll.
I'm Georgia Shering.
My name is Hajim Al-Musawi.
My name is Jomo Park.
Pursuit is a University of Melbourne publication. It's a University of Melbourne magazine, and the whole aim of Pursuit is really to look at the world of academia within the University of Melbourne and get that world out into the real world.
It is a website that publishes articles written about science that academics do here.
It's broadly read by university students and academics, but it is for a general audience, so it's just for anybody who's interested in the research being done by the university.
Pursuit is all about communicating ideas that are happening, ideas that originate from the University of Melbourne, and being able to communicate that to a general audience or to the general public.
The whole idea of the project is to write a Pursuit article. Actually, we are 4 members, so we split in 2 teams.
James and I wrote an article for the Faculty of Science, more specifically the School of Physics.
And Hashim and I wrote for the Faculty of Veterinary and Agricultural Sciences.
And so for our project, we basically had to look for different academics within our specified faculty.
The researcher we interviewed was Elizabeth Hind, and she was researching imaging techniques for cellular structures.
What was really cool about Liz is that she really spoke to us about her journey to academia. So she started off doing an arts degree, and then she really liked some fluorescent images, which a researcher was doing in California.
Although we didn't focus on the actual research that was being done, we more focused on how she got there in the first place, her journey to researching that sort of stuff, and the new award that she won, the Women in Science Emerging Research Award.
We interviewed a few academics from the Soil and the Environment group. They were talking to us about their research into trying to reduce nitrogen emissions from agriculture using a whole systems approach.
They are utilizing brown coal, which is associated with pollution, and reducing agricultural waste. We were looking for something to grab the attention of the general audience and something that is interesting. And using brown coal to reduce agricultural waste is really interesting subject.
And so part of the initial aspects of our project is we had to basically screen articles which had already been written for the students to identify where the gaps were in regards to the current state of academia at the moment.
Another aspect of finding academics for our article was to ensure that they were doing research in things that are relevant to current events, because Pursuit wants to capture a broad audience, and they do this by reeling in really interesting topics that are relevant to everybody's lives.
And we had to approach different academics who were interested in writing an article for the University of Melbourne newspaper.
We asked them if we can meet and discuss their publications and future challenges.
And then we interviewed the academic, and after that, wrote up an article.
So when our article will be published on Pursuit, we will really evaluate the success of our article based on the amount of likes our article received, based on who comments on our article, based on how many shares on social media our article has, and basically using different matrices, we'll be able to identify how popular and how widely read our article is. And for us, this is really the biggest measure of our success.
If it is published itself, this will be a success. We will use some forms to check how attractive the article. We might do some surveys.
We can evaluate the success of our article in a few ways. First of all, we've been going back and forth with our mentors through the editing process to make sure that it's to a high enough standard. If we do get our article published in Pursuit, that in itself is an evaluation of our success, because it's saying it meets the standards of the journal. And we can also evaluate its success through its dissemination through social media, publication on news sites, as well as interaction with the article on Pursuit.
So originally we had difficulty contacting academics.
We faced a few issues with potentially not getting our article out in time. We also learnt that academics are very busy people, and if we're wanting to interview them, we need to make sure we've got plenty of time to organise a time that suits both us and them.
We basically split up as a group, and we all contacted different academics with the hope that one academic will respond to us in time.
Next time I would approach the academics earlier. We need more time to write the article than we were left with.
Actually, the academics are busy people, so it would be great from the beginning to give them a specific time frame so they can respond to our emails according to that time frame.
We would reach out to academics earlier because we found out we were running out of time by the end of semester.
So throughout this project we found out many things. We learned how the actual editing and writing process goes for a article that's going to be published somewhere of repute.
Yeah, there are many skills that I have developed, especially communication through writing, like writing for different audience, contacting the staff and academics.
I've definitely improved my professional emailing skills. Sometimes you need to be a little bit more assertive to ensure that things happen on time, so I've learned how to do that more successfully. I've also gotten better at editing, writing in a particular style as is requested by Pursuit, and just generally learning how to find out what's in the public's interest.
There's many forms of communication. First of all, we learned to communicate with a wide range of different people. We had to communicate in a group, so we had to communicate with our classmates, we had to communicate as a team. We also had to communicate with our mentors, so we were put together with different mentors from Pursuit, and we had to communicate to them, we had to get deadlines to them about different aspects of our project. We also had to communicate with academics, and this was a big challenge for us because academics, out of all this strata, were probably the most busy people, and so we really had to take into account the time that the academics had.
Through the whole project, we learned how to communicate with different people, and not only the academics and staff, but and our mentors, as well as the general audience through the articles that we wrote.
So most of the research, the communication is in the written format. However, we do include some images and some hyperlinks out to further reading as well. But for the most part, the communication is written.
We had to send out emails, so that was mostly written communication. And then to the writing of Pursuit in general. The primary format of our communication was through words, as in our article, but supplementarily we've also had images and perhaps some video links or further reading materials.
The other form of communication we used was really developing our writing skills, and with this we really had to develop this art of being able to transcribe an interview with an academic about an area of research which we were not familiar with, and being able to transcribe this in a way which is understandable and relatable to the general public.
If you communicate with general audience, you will give them an idea about what's happening in the research, and you will attract them to the science.
In addition to writing to the academics via email and also having to write to construct an article, we needed to conduct an interview, and this is a really different kind of communication to what we're used to. It doesn't matter how many emails you've sent somebody, once you sit down and have a chat with them, you find that things tend to flow quite differently. So we needed to very quickly develop this skill of asking the right questions to get the answers that we needed to construct our article.
So another form of communication which we really developed together as a team was this communication through videos, or putting together this group project which we had to do, where we had to film each other in an interview style and talk about the project we had been doing for Pursuit.